Dreams do come true. So kids, what's your dream?
What more is new? So bright, colorful and new. Sometimes it feels hard, but you don't wanna give up.
Hello. Hi.
You can see my dream?
Of course, because I too had a dream. Some days I dreamt of becoming a tennis player and some days a cricketer. To make their dreams real tomorrow, you need financial planning today. Choose from a range of child plans from Aegis Federal Life Insurance and help your child dream big.
Hello and welcome to this very special episode of Backstage with Boria. You don't get Sourav Ghosal physically because of his routine of travel, and oftentimes becomes very difficult to sort of manage travel, but that too in Kolkata, my home turf, his home turf. To be able to get to him is quite something fortunate. And 2022, if we look back to 2022, it was a year of firsts for Indian squash, and this man in many ways led the revolution. Would you actually say it was your best year and India's best year?
I think I would, obviously personally for me, to kind of be, centrally involved in so many of the firsts for Indian squash is a big deal. And I think for Indian squash, I think we made breakthroughs in kind of places where we've never done before. And I think that bodes really well for our sport in this country. And hopefully moving forward, we can really build on that.
Commonwealth Games individual medal meant the world to you and to us. I mean, I remember being there. Just tell us about it.
I mean, I've been wanting that individual medal for so many years. I started off my Commonwealth journey at the home games in Delhi. At that point in time, I didn't probably have a realistic shot of winning a medal, so I was kind of just ushering myself into the fray, so to say. But 2014 onwards, I had a realistic shot. 2014 I got close, but I didn't win the bronze medal match eventually in Glasgow. 2018 was heartbreak. That was one of the moments in my career where you have these losses which suck a lot out of you, suck a lot of belief out of you, and I was very close to saying that maybe I'm not good enough to really make this happen for myself, but thankfully I did come back and then kind of do it after all those years in 22, with the circumstances as it were in the bronze medal match, playing James Wellstrop, who I've obviously looked up to for such a long time, with the quality of the field that is on offer at the Commonwealth Games. Like you said, first Indian individual squash medal, history, everything. It was unbelievable. That's something that will always stay with me. I still kind of sit back sometimes and I think about it and I'm like, wow, that actually happened.
And to play James, play that bronze medal match, it all sort of comes together. You've been close to him, you've trained with him, right? I remember speaking to you then also. Yeah. That made it more special?
Yeah, I mean, it made it very special, but at the same time made it extremely hard. I think when the draw came out first, the first thing you looked at was that we both of us were in separate halves of the draw. So in my head, and I'm pretty sure in James's head as well, the dream final would have been for us to play against each other. Unfortunately, we came up against Paul and Joel Macon, who were unbelievable in that week, and that didn't happen. And then we ended up playing the bronze medal match, and it's very difficult to kind of, put your kind of mental disappointment of losing that semi-final the day before, and then to come out and play a bronze medal match. Of course, to someone who hasn't played sport at the highest level, you would think that you're still playing a bronze medal match, right? That should be motivation enough. But because you are kind of gunning for that gold medal, and that gold medal has gone from your grasp after all that time, it's very difficult to pick yourself back up and play another match the next day. And then to do it against someone who knows you inside out, both squash-wise as well as personally, and who has kind of taught you so much through the years. both him and then obviously his father, and what he's done for me as a coach, is very much due to him that I am the professional player I am today. So I think all those things put together makes it very difficult to kind of produce a special performance on that day. And I think that's something that I'm most proud of. Of course, winning is brilliant. That gives you that sort of instant gratification of that medal that you have, and it goes down in history that I'm a bronze medalist. But I think what will always stay with me is that I actually produced one of my best performances of my career on that day, and it was, when I look back at it, I don't think I could have done anything else different to make that more of a perfect performance against James. And it's funny, I was speaking to him about a month back about it, and we were just having a chat about it, and he was telling me, he's like, I played you in the summer, and of course I'm older now, but I was in fine fettle at that time. I had trained really hard for this event, and I was hitting the ball really well, but when I played you, it felt like I came up against a brick wall. I felt like everything that I threw at you, I got back with interest, and that's probably one of the best I have seen you play, and the best you've played against me. And that means a lot to me coming from him, because he has played so much against me.
Correct.
And I know personally as well that what I produced that day was huge, and it needed that performance against someone like him, because he is so good. When you open the door even a tiny inch for him to come back from the dead, he's very good. He's one of the best, and that's why he has achieved all that he has. So I'm so proud to be able to produce that performance on that day, and for it all to come together almost, on that day, on the 3rd of August, for us to have that history-making day for Indian squash.
Your thoughts on how 23 can pan out for Indian squash?
No, for sure. I think the Commonwealth Games was a flexion point. Of course, Deepika, Joshna, myself have kind of been the torchbearers for Indian squash for a while, and people behind us have also done well. But I think what happened in 22 with the Commonwealth Games, the media exposure that we got from that was absolutely brilliant and unprecedented. And I really hope that the media continues to look at what we're achieving on court and give us that due in the press and on TV and things like that. I think at this point in time, we have a very strong core of players, both in the men's and the women's. Of course, it's still being led by Joshna on the women's and me on the men's side, and we can't hide from the fact that we're not going to play forever. Right? There is a finite amount of time that we can do what we are doing, but I think with the group that we have, we can achieve special things moving forward in the next few years.
How important is sports science? How important is, say, a psychologist? How important is Team Sourav Ghosal? Can you highlight that?
It is the most important. I mean, I'm 36 today. I wouldn't be playing if it wasn't for them. That's the bare truth. Of course, at the end of the day, I'm the one going out there and producing what I have to produce. But all this happens because of all the inputs and all the support that I get from these people who are experts in their fields. I've been working with my physical trainer, who's an English guy, Damon Brown. He lives in Philadelphia. I've been working with him for the last 10 years. The reason why I'm physically as good as I am is purely because of him. The reason why I don't get so many big injuries and things like that, because he manages the workload so well. I've been working with David Palmer, who's my squash coach for the last 5 years. The kind of ways in which we try to adapt and play different types of games is because of him, and tactically how to play different people is because of him. I've been working with Gayatri Vatak, who's my psychologist now for the last year and a half, and going back to that James match, big help the night before for me to be able to get up the next morning and say, right, here we go again. I have my nutritionist, Krushmi Chheda, who's worked with me again for like the last 2.5-3 years, and my diet has changed drastically from before that. And then there are other things, I use the ultra-human sensor, which will kind of tell me, when my body needs the rest, when the body is really in stress, and what I need to do to make it better. All these things put together make a huge difference. And this is obviously on the technical side of it. And then on the other side, which is also super important, is kind of the family support. Personally, at the end of the day, we're all human beings.
Correct.
Right? You play your best when you're in a space where you're happy and calm, right? And that support from family is what makes that possible. If your personal life is all over the place, you probably could produce 1 or 2 performances purely because you're kind of like steeling yourself and saying that, I need to do this. But on a consistent basis, to produce performances and to continue enjoying the sport that you play, because a lot of the stuff that we do is not enjoyable. The sessions are brutal. Whilst you're doing them, you're thinking like you must be a madman to do these things, right? But somehow you find a way to enjoy these things, and that's because the personal life is settled, and you have people around you who you love and who love you back and keep you in that space to produce your best, and everyone together makes this Sourav Ghosal possible.
Importance of mental health?
Look, I think it's very, very important to understand that whatever we produce as athletes, right, is because of all the work that we put in before. So our skill levels are at a premium because what we have done before. But when we go out, whether it be at the shooting range or on the squash court or on the cricket field, at that very point in time is the mental side of things which really takes over. Everyone has the skill level to a certain extent. The thing what differentiates the best from the also-rans is how good you are mentally to produce what you have in your locker, right? And if for whatever reason, you are mentally not in the space to produce that, you aren't going to be able to do it. So that's, when I say things like, if your personal life is up in smoke, or, something else is bothering you, it's just normal human tendency that your kind of laser focus is going to be distracted by that other thing, right? And that causes so much disturbance in your head that you can't produce your best. The only time you can produce your best is when you have the utmost clarity in terms of what you want to do, right? Whether it be in my case, obviously, I am responding to what the opponent is throwing at me in my sport, where I know that, okay, the opponent is going to play a certain way. So I have utmost clarity that, if the person puts the ball in such and such area or plays in such and such way, then I'm going to respond in such and such way. And when I have the most clarity, I go out and produce. In the case of Manu, she's obviously almost shooting against herself because it's about a score, right? Yes, there are competitors, but she's doing it on her own. But at the same time, if she doesn't have that pure focus, and shooting is a very, very kind of, 0.00 millimeters make a difference, right? That's the difference between gold and not even medaling, right? So if there is even a slight kind of thing of doubt or an iota of hesitation caused by something which is affecting her mentally, it is going to show, right? And everyone is not a robot. People are human, right? It's not like she's going out there and saying that, okay, I don't want to produce my best. Everyone wants to produce their best. People haven't gotten to this level if they weren't competitive and wanting to win every single time, right? I'm pretty sure every single top sports person wants to win a game of marbles as well, whether against anyone, right? And that's just the way we are. Our makeup is that it's just going to pinch us if we lose, a game of snakes and ladders, for example, or even Ludo or Uno or whatever. So she's going out there trying to do her best. Now, every time it doesn't work out, right? But the only thing that athletes can, do is controlling what they can control, which is your preparation. True. And that puts you in the best possible position to produce your best and gives you the best possible opportunity. After that, you have to kind of leave it a little bit to kind of circumstance and everything and hope that all that work that you've put in gets you where you need to be.
When I watched that match in Birmingham, and soon after you and I had spoken, we thought we've seen the best of Sourav Ghosal. Have we seen the best of Sourav Ghosal? Can you better that?
Let me put it this way. If I thought that was the best that I could produce ever, I think that's one of the best I've produced yet. If I thought that was the best I could produce ever, then I wouldn't be playing anymore. If the only reason I am playing still and I want to play this year and hopefully after that is because I believe truly that I can produce more and I can produce a better and a higher level of sports more consistently on the world level. And obviously the Asian Games is a big event, it's a big tournament, and that's something that I dearly want to win. I was very close in 2014, I had match ball but unfortunately lost to win silver, but I do want to win that gold for myself and for my country. and we have the team gold as well. That I think as a team, like I said, we have a strong core of boys now. I think we have a very, very good shot at that. So yeah, hopefully, all of us will put in the work that's required. We will put ourselves in the best possible position to be able to gun for that with all we have, and hopefully, everything will work out for us, and we will come back, with gold around our necks and not bronze.
And another physical interview at that point in time. I mean, I'll finish there. Sourav has already created a lot of firsts for Indian squash. We've celebrated him in 2022, but as he said, he wouldn't be playing the sport if he believed that the best is already past. So the fact is, lot will be expected out of Sourav Ghosal. We'll put pressure, that's our job, but his job is to deliver, which he has for a long, long time. And that's what makes a sport. That's what creates legacy. That's what creates champions. He is one. Pleasure, absolute pleasure talking to you.
So
all the very, very best to you for 23 and beyond, and of course the Asian Games gold. Thank you very much for watching.